where the law in South Africa regarding refugees is changing, with the latest of its own bringing some difficulties. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Zimbabwean-born Butho Lezwe Nyathi has been a refugee in South Africa for years now. He narrates his story and how the new regulations will likely affect him.
I started off as an asylum seeker and now I hold a refugee status from 2005. I am an activist, a political activist. I started off as a social activist in Zimbabwe a long time ago, in early 2000. And I was forced out of the country sometime in 2003, where I skipped the border into South Africa without even having a passport.
Before getting his asylum papers, he had to make means to survive.
I found it very difficult because as a professional nurse, I was working in theatre and I found myself having to work in a construction company, something that I was not used to. Anyway, I got an asylum seeker's permit, which is a Section 22 permit.
After following the proper process, he got his refugee status.
I went through the process of interviews where the refugee status determination officers had to interview me, and they determined that I qualified as a refugee in 2005. So from 2005, I've held this status as a refugee.
Nyathi is the chairperson of a migrant workers association. He's also part of the African Academy for Excellence and Development. The new regulations will be quite restrictive to Nyathi and others in similar situations.
We are already frustrated by the processes of producing documents for us to travel. So if these regulations are going to be further restricting our participation and our movement within the borders of South Africa and also outside the borders of South Africa, we feel that it will directly impact on our activism and in the process of trying to resolve our crisis in the countries where we are coming from.
Nyathi's concerns are echoed by other organizations that represent refugees and asylum seekers.
Asylum seekers are not here to disrespect or go against the laws of the country. They have to abide by them. I still insist that the restrictiveness is not going to help fix our situation. Actually, South Africa will be in a situation where people are just flocking in and just staying and not fixing their problems.
The regulations under the Refugees Act already took effect from January 1, 2020.